Well, welcome to session 7 of our 12-session series called Write the Vision. We have covered an awful lot of ground. We've talked about dreams. We talked about where they come from, the importance, the need for dreams in your life. We talked about focus. We've talked about making smart decisions and prioritizing and measuring. We've also talked about the need to actually write your vision, which is what we're dealing with now. And we've given you 5 ideas, 5 approaches to actually writing your vision. From the root word scribe, we get 5 English words: describe, prescribe, inscribe, subscribe, and ascribe. And we are walking through those 5 words now. Now, some of you are just getting into the training at session 6. This is session 7. There are 12 sessions, and the way we promoted this training program is we've offered 5 of the 12 sessions for free, primarily to our Facebook users, but to other users as well. And those 5 sessions began at session 6. So those of you that are in on that free promotion, you started at session 6. You are now in session 7. But if you want the whole training, you got to go back to session 1. And of course, that's for sale to you in a variety of ways. Hopefully you have the book, Write the Vision. It's available in print through Amazon.com or at your local bookstore. You can order it from us as well at armoroflightpublishing.org. You can also get it in digital form, Kindle, Nook, iBooks, that sort of thing. And if you're in the training sessions, the training manual is available to you as well. You can just get the manual to go along with these 5 free training sessions. There's a bonus session in here called Find, Follow, and Finish Your Course that comes with a CD that is incredible, a teaching that I recommend to anyone who is really trying to identify what their gift is and what it is that they're supposed to be doing in their lives. But if you want the entire 12-week training session, which I highly recommend, then that's an entirely different situation that comes with the workbook, the Find, Follow, and Finish Your Course information, and the CD, and of course these 12 video training sessions, 5 of which you are enjoying now. And so we're in session 7. And today we're going to talk about the need for a prescribed plan of action. Last time we were together, we talked about how if you're going to realize your dream, doesn't matter how big or small it is, if you're going to realize any dream, you have to master the ability to describe what it is you want to accomplish. It may be burning inside of you, it probably is. You're excited about it, it's very real in your heart, in your head. But if you don't understand the beautiful art of describing what is in your heart, you may find yourself continually frustrated because other people are not as excited about your idea as you are. And you may blame them. You may say, well, they're not treating me fairly. They don't understand me. You may blame it on some particular characteristic that you think is confusing them. Maybe you think it's your race or your ethnic background. Maybe you think it's the fact that you're of the wrong gender. Or maybe you think they don't like you because you live in a certain part of the country, or you haven't achieved a certain level of accomplishment business-wise or what have you. Maybe you don't have a certain degree and you think that's why people won't listen to you. But you know, the average human being is less concerned about that than you think. Most people are concerned about results, and they're concerned about what they understand, what's clear to them. And so if you are able to fully describe what it is you want them to do, or what it is that you want to sell them or provide for them, the average human being is going to buy into that description. They don't care whether or not you got a college degree. It doesn't make any difference whether you're black, white, red, yellow, brown, male, female, old, young, rich, poor, high, low, great, small, educated, uneducated. And don't try this at home. We are professionals. No, what they want to do is understand what it is you're trying to pitch to them. And it's not their responsibility to understand you as much as it is your responsibility to make yourself understood. So you need to master the art of describing things. But once you have described it and they know where it is you want to go, what you want to wind up with, what you want to do, thinking people who are going to invest their time, money, and effort into whatever it is that you've described to them. Now I want to see a plan. Okay, that's a great idea. I get it. I see where you want to go. But, you know, we've never been there before. We've never done that before. We've never seen anybody else do that, or we've seen people try to do that and fail. How do you plan to succeed at it? What's your plan? You've described it to me. Now I need a detailed, prescribed plan of action. And a lot of people drop the ball there. They got a great idea. They're excited about it, but how to make it happen in a way that other people will buy into is another animal altogether. So now we want to talk about how you can begin to take a blank sheet of paper and craft a plan that will help to realize whatever it is you have described. Now, planning can be done in a couple of ways, and I'm going to approach it from a couple of ways just to kind of give you a body of tools to work with as you begin to develop that prescribed plan of action for whatever the goal, dream, or vision it is you have described. One of the things that you want to do is once you clarify where it is you want to go, what's the destination? Okay, I want to go to Los Angeles, California, to Rodeo Drive, and I want to sit at a sidewalk cafe and eat niçoise and watch Rolls Royces ride by, you know. And so that's your goal, okay? That's where you want to wind up. But the best map in the world will not get you where you want to go if you don't first know where you are, okay? You ever been to the mall and you say you want to buy a pair of shoes? Maybe it's a mall that you're not familiar with, you've never been to before, and most malls, when you walk into the major entrances, major access points, there are these kiosks or something of the sort there, and there's a diagram, a map, a schematic of the entire mall. It shows you the different levels, usually color-coded, and then a listing somewhere of the different types of stores, eateries, clothing stores, children, so on and so on. And so you find shoe stores, right? Men's shoe stores in my case. And you say, oh, there's a, I don't know, Cole Haan store in this mall. I like Cole Haan shoes, so let's see where that is. It's on level 2. It's space number A31. Okay, all right, that's great. So I know the store is here. I know that it's in space number A31. That's great information. I see it right there on the diagram, but now I got to figure out where I am. And every one of those diagrams has an X or a circle with an X in it. It's usually red or some bright color that will draw your attention to it, aside from the pastels that, you know, denote the other things. And it will say, you are here. Well, when you're planning, whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, when you're writing that prescribed plan of action, it's very important to be honest about where you are. And you'll be surprised. I know that seems like simple information, but even in your own life, if you stop for a moment, there are so many things in your life that you aspire to do. You want to lose some weight. You want to develop your stamina. You want to, I don't know, pick a point. But one of the reasons you haven't gotten there isn't because you don't have enough help or you don't have enough money. That's what we blame it on. I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the money to do it. Or no one will help me. Or I can't afford a personal trainer. You know, just whatever. We've got tons of excuses. But one of our great problems in most cases like that is we refuse to be honest about where we are. And if you don't know where you are, or if you're unwilling to be honest about where you are, you don't have a snowball's chance in a microwave oven of getting where you want to go. It's just not going to happen. Okay, best guide in the world can't get you there if no one knows where you are. Okay, so you know our goal was to get to Los Angeles, California. We want to go to Rodeo Drive. We want to sit at a sidewalk cafe, eat niçoise, salad, and count Rolls Royces. Right? Okay. So where are you? Well, I'm sitting in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Okay. I'm on the East Coast, or as my friends from Los Angeles say, they're on the West Coast and I'm on the best coast. right? Well, I'm on the East Coast. I'm 3,000 miles from Los Angeles, right? Almost 2,500 miles from Los Angeles. So now I got to figure out how to traverse that 2,500 miles. And I got some choices. I can get in a car and drive. I can get on a bus and ride. I'm not sure I can catch you probably catch a train from, somewhere in this area, somewhere close to Los Angeles. I can get on an airplane. There's a lot of ways to get to Los Angeles in terms of transportation. I can stand on the side of the road and hitchhike. There's lots of ways to get to Los Angeles from here to there. So I got to decide based on where I am. Now I got to figure out how I want to approach this. And I've got a few choices to make. Now those choices may be guided by how much money I have, how much time I have, am I going by myself? What kind of travel is it? Because I tend to travel slightly differently when I'm taking my family, my wife, my granddaughter travel with me sometimes. And so, when they go, I travel a little differently. I can rough it a little bit when it's just me. I'm not interested in a first class ticket. I'm trying to save money. Usually when I take a trip like that, I'm working. I'm going to speak. I'm going to do something to earn some money, and to ply my trade, as it were. And so I'm not really vacationing. I mean, I enjoy myself when I travel. I try to find a golf course if I got time to get in around. I like to stay in a decent hotel and eat some good food. But that's not my prime directive usually when I'm traveling by myself. And so the way I travel then is a little different than the way I travel with them. But that's going to inform my choices as I make my plan, right? And so I know where I want to go, right? I get back to where I am, and now I start thinking through the various choices that will help me decide how to get from point A to point B. Does that make sense? All right? It used to be years ago. Nowadays, you don't do it so much. You got Expedia and Priceline and all these other travel sites on the internet. So a lot of stuff you do yourself now. But years ago, we used to use a travel agent. When I was traveling an awful lot, I had a travel agent. And I traveled so much, we were on a first name basis. Well, she called me Pastor Evans, I called her Judy. And she kind of was accustomed to the kinds of questions that were needful to arrange an itinerary for me, which would ultimately become my prescribed plan of action. I call up and I say, hey, Judy, I'm going to California. I need to go to Los Angeles so we need to find some travel for me. And so she would begin to ask those questions. Well, because sometimes I wouldn't be going from home. I would take multiple leg trips. I might be somewhere else in the country or the world when I called her to get to Los Angeles. So she said, well, where are you leaving from? I said, well, I'm flying out of Raleigh-Durham, which is my home airport, as it were. And she said, okay, are you going by yourself? And once again, knowing me well, that would inform her choices about how I travel. She knew I was willing to, fly a little lower class of travel, save a little money if I was traveling by myself, rough it a bit. Didn't necessarily need a 5-star hotel if I was traveling by myself, or a 4-star hotel. I didn't need a pool. I wasn't going to get in it. I just needed a clean room with a firm bed and a good hot shower, and that's what I needed. In most cases, if I was business traveling. She would say, well, is this business or pleasure? And I would tell her that. Which airport are you going to fly into? Is someone picking you up? Will you need a rental car? How many days are you going to be gone? These are the kinds of questions that you ask when you're writing a prescribed plan of action. You've described what it is you want to do, or where it is you want to arrive. You come back and you determine where you are. In this case, where I am geographically, but also where I am financially, where I am time-wise. If I'm talking about my weight, where I am weight-wise, health-wise, mentally, spiritually. What do I have to work with? What are my resources that are available to accomplish this goal? So now I know what I need. Now I know what I have at my disposal. Now I know what I'm capable of at this point, and if I want to try to do more than I'm capable of, what I need to do to get capable of more. Am I making sense? And so you start where you are, or depending on who you're talking to, you start where you want to go, and then you find out where you are. You determine or ascertain what it is you have. What are my resources at my disposal? Most people look at it the other way. What don't I have? What don't I have? I wouldn't advise that you start there, because that way you begin to you start too early talking yourself out of doing what it is you endeavor to do, right? So don't start with what you don't have. Start with what you do have. There's a story in 2 Kings chapter 4 where a woman's husband died. Her husband was a priest, died, left her in debt, which, happens more often than you might think. Men think they're going to live forever and don't really plan for an early departure. And so they made deals and gotten into debt, thinking that they're just going to have an income keep coming in, and maybe they're not as insured as well as they should be. They die and leave their wives in debt. And this woman was in debt. She hadn't worked outside of her home. She was a homemaker, raising children, and really didn't have any marketable skills that she could count on. And so the creditors came to take her sons to debtor's prison. She went to the priest and said, "What am I going to do?" And he said, "Well, what do you have in the house?" Her objective, obviously, was to keep her sons out of jail. Her objective was to pay her bills, meet her needs, survive, make a living in the absence of her dead husband. But his first question, the priest's first question in 2 Kings chapter 4 was, "What do you have in the house?" Whereas most people respond like she did. She said, "Well, I have nothing. I have nothing." And then she thought about it, save a pot of oil. And most people, when they get into trouble or when they begin to aspire, the reason most people don't dream is because they spend so much time focused on what they don't have. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I can't go to college. I don't have the test scores. I don't have this. I don't have that. You think about what you don't have, and you get so myopic, so focused in on what you don't have, till you forget that you do have some things. In her case, she had a house. He asked, "What do you have in the house?" She had a house. And then, at the risk of upsetting some of the ladies who are listening to me, I never met a woman that didn't have stuff in her house. Bachelor might live in a 12-bedroom house and have nothing but a bed, a sofa, and a flat screen TV. But a woman, I don't care whether she's rich or poor, she's going to fill up however much space you give her. She had stuff in that house, but she was so focused on her problem till she forgot that she had anything of value. But when she paused, she said, "I have nothing save a pot of oil." So where do you want to go? I want to get out of debt. I want to pay my bills. I want to earn a living in the absence of my husband who's departed. I want to go to California. I want to sit at a sidewalk cafe on Rodeo Drive and eat miswa and watch Rolls Royces ride by. All right, fine. Where are you? Well, I'm in North Carolina. Okay, that's where you are. Geographically, where are you financially? Can you afford a first-class ticket? Can you afford to fly? Do you need to drive? Well, what do you have to get you there? Well, I don't have any of that. Oh, well, wait a minute. We got to raise some resources. What do you have? Well, I have the ability to earn $100 a day mowing lawns. Oh, great. We can get you a ticket to Los Angeles for $400. You mow 4 lawns, you got a ticket. You mow 5 lawns, you eat something on the way, So you're going to have to cut 10 to 12 lawns, 15, 20 lawns to have the kind of trip you want, depending on how long you're going to stay. You hear what I'm saying? What do you have? Not what don't I have. I don't have any money. What do you have? I got a lawnmower and the ability to earn $100 a day cutting lawns. That's what you do have, okay? So write that down, all right? And now we say, well, what do you need? Well, I need to go cut some lawns, and I need some luggage, and I need this, and I need that, and I need the other. And now you can begin to plan step by step, how to get where you want to go. And one of the things you want to do is begin with the first step. Remember, those of you that are just getting into the teaching may not remember this, but in an earlier session, we talked about making smart decisions. And one of the parts of that acronym SMART, S-M-A-R-T, was the A, accessible. A lot of people have huge dreams, but they never stop to think about the first step toward that 1,000-mile journey that they can begin now. They're so overwhelmed by what they don't have, so overwhelmed by what they can't do, so overwhelmed by how big the dream is, till they undershoot, for lack of a better word, that first step. What can you start to do now to get ready? Well, I can put some gas in that lawnmower. I can call or visit, those 10, 12, 15 people that are going to pay me $100 to cut that grass. I can begin to do that. I can go on the internet and find a hotel I want to stay in. I can, find that cafe on Rodeo Drive. I can Tell some other people that I'm going. You know, there are tons of things you can do now. It may take you a few weeks to get there, a few months to get there, but there are things you can begin to do now. All right. And so you want to clearly describe where it is you want to go. And then you want to begin to make that prescribed plan of action. And that begins with, now that you know where you want to go, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? What do you have? What do you need? And what can you begin to do now? Now, in an earlier session, talked about starting with short-range goals. What can you do today or in a week? Mid-range goals. What can you do in a month or 3 months? Long-range goals. What can you do in a year, 5 years? Or you got your bucket list goals, your lifetime goals, right? You need measured goals like that. Are you following what I'm saying? And so that you can begin to order a prescribed plan of action. Now, later on in the teaching, I'm going to show you one of the most practical planning guides I've ever seen in my life. I want to show it to you. It's going to amaze you, A, in its simplicity, but B, where it came from. It's just an odd place to get a planning tool from. But I do believe it's going to help you as you come up with a prescribed plan of action to arrive at your goals. So let's recap just a little bit. We're talking about 5 key words that you are going to use in order to realize your dreams and visions. These 5 key words come from the root word, which is a synonym of write, because we talked about write the vision. Synonym of write is scribble. The root of scribble is scribere, from the Latin scribere, and it is from, or it is the root to 5 English words that we are using as practical guides for writing our vision. The first word is describe. If you're going to arrive at your goal, you need to master the ability to clearly describe what it is you want to do, where it is you want to go, or what it is you want to achieve. Once you have clearly described it, then you need a prescribed plan of action. I know where I want to go. I want to go to Los Angeles. I want to sit at a sidewalk cafe on Rodeo Drive. I want to eat Niçoise salad. I want to count Rolls Royces. That's what I want to do. Okay, great, fantastic, outstanding. All right, now what's your plan? How do you plan to get there? Well, first of all, where are you? Well, I'm in North Carolina. That's where you are geographically. Where are you financially, transportation-wise? Where are you in terms of your family? Just where are you? Okay? Kind of identify how we need to plan to get to where you want to go. All right? So now we got to make choices about transportation, money, time, how long you want to stay, where you're going to stay. All these choices have to be made, but they begin to be made based on those 2 kind of foundational pieces of information. Where I want to go, what I've clearly described, and where I am. So now we can start to ask, what do you have? Don't start with what you don't have. That'll just shut your dream down. Start with what you do have. Okay? What do you have? And that will inform choices about what you need. Not what you don't have, just what you need. Start with what you do have, and that will inform choices about what you need. And if you'll do that, you'll be well on your way towards inscribing, writing out that prescribed plan of action in a way that not only you can follow, but others can follow and ultimately help you by using as well. We're well down the road toward helping you to realize your dream. And we're going to follow through on these 5 words: describe, prescribe, inscribe, subscribe, and ascribe. Next time we're going to look at actually inscribing, physically writing that prescribed plan of action for that goal that you have described in the next session. Make sure you get our book, Write the Vision. You can get it in print through Amazon.com or in your local bookstore, or from our website, armoroflight.org. You can get it in a digital format to read on your iPad through iBooks or your Nook reader or your Kindle reader. If you're going to follow along in the the training sessions, you definitely want the workbook filled with information that will enhance your ability to realize your dream. You can get that through our website, michaelleevans.com. And it's available for those of you that just want it as a guide for the 5 free sessions that we've offered. But if you want the 12 sessions, which I strongly suggest, that's available as well. And so we look forward to joining you next time as we continue to help you to write the vision.